ComStar Network, news trusted by all major phones. I am Tank Burner, and this week, in an effort to save your ears from my annoying voice, we decided to start a little game among ComStar. Each week, for the next 4 weeks, we'll bring in a new co-anchor to announce off some of the week's action. This week's co-anchor will be Papa Bros Ash. Papa, welcome to the show. And this week in review, Papa, take it away.
Alright, thank you Tank. This week in reviews, the smaller clans, Custom Shear, Grey Death Legion, and Snow Raven, have merged their territories under the Snow Raven banner. No one expected that. Okay, this created a stable buffer zone between Davian Guard and Clan Wolf. The Snow Raven Jackals are now locked into a life and death struggle for control of the sectors. In addition, Adeptus Minor rejoins Davian Guard because they were getting teamed up on by certain people, we won't name any names here, to consolidate their defenses against their mutual enemy, the Ghost Bear and the Jade Falcon. And back to you, Tank, for more reviews.
Thanks, Papa. The Trial Clans continue to vie for a foothold on the map. Saturday saw the Steel Viper and Red Rattler attack a sector wanted by the Ghost Bear. In another three-way battle royale, the Red Rattler proved itself more poisonous than the Steel Viper, but repeated the mistake made by the previous clans by not working with its fellow reptile. Ghost Bear clan waited until the Steel Vipers was smashed before moving on to the last remaining Red Rattler to silence its war drum. However, the Trial Clans had more success on Wednesday when Steel Viper took the last unoccupied sector without a fight, and Zero Tolerance prevailed over a weak Snow Raven sector. Steel Viper and Zero Tolerance had achieved landing. Red Rattler was propelled by Davian in what many thought as a sure win for the Red Rattler. Davian was only able to pull out a narrow victory by using its double production bonus and using a Merc alongside its veteran fighters.
Late-breaking blatant commercialism.
Want a memento of your loved one in your cockpit? Want to show off your dangerously good looks? Need to make your profile pic your primary arsenal? Visit Cross's Corner Studio. In her shot locker, you'll find everything you can desire to make you the brightest star in the galaxy. Make your good looks your weapon of choice, and make Cross's shade your armor. Hey fellas, it's Lily. I know you big old hunks of white and unpainted metal are trying hard to pick up us ladies, and these new 3.5 mechs aren't making your cause any easier. So why don't you do all us ladies a favor and get down to Tanks and get your mechs painted in style? 'Cause we all know every lady likes it when everything on the outside matches the interior on the cockpit. So get on down to Tanks.
Welcome back, and before we go any further, why don't we discuss the new 3.5 update that everyone has their mind on. Tank Burner got the inside scoop on the admin's pick for the top 3 mechs of this new update. Tank?
In order for me and all the other BTCM players to further understand the new mechs and weapon releases, let me take a moment to say, oh my god, thank you Xander and Sahar! And now back to our story. I went searching for why I should hit camping chairs hardcore and invest in one of these new mechs. I brought in Mech Assault Engineer Zakara Zagato. Zakara, as a creator of BTCM, you were granted the permission to pilot each of these mechs and explore each new attachment's capabilities. Sakara has gone through and picked out his favorite 3 new mechs and is going to tell us about them. Alright, Sagara, so what will be the first mech you are going to be showing us?
First up is the Nova Cat. Nova Cat is a clan favorite that we're going to bring in that's been released with the 3.5 update. Nova Cat comes with 3 weapons brought in with it. It's Tri-Laser, the Light Mortar, and a Heavy PPC. It's fairly heat efficient mech on its own to some extent, but the big feature of this mech is that it's first off, it's a 350 point mech. Second off, that it brings realistically some of the meanest weapons to the field as far as being close range. This is just a mech you don't want to close in with if you can help it. Back that by the fact that, once again, it's 350 points of health, so baby's got a lot to give. It's probably going to be one of the favorite heavy mechs as far as being an assault mech goes. In other words, when you want to take the fight to the enemy, this is probably the mech you're going to want to choose.
Alright, yeah, that is one really mean looking mech. I can definitely see some tactical use for it. Alright, what mech do you have to show us next?
The next mech is the Sentinel. The Sentinel is a point defense mech. It has the ability to turn into a turret at will. By pressing C, the user goes into lockdown. Whereas normally, while it's up and driving around, it only shoot once every 3 to 4 seconds. A burst of 4 shots, doing about 40 damage. When it's locked down, it gets a double heatsink ability, which basically means that it can just sit there and spray bullets non-stop. At 150 rounds per gun, it's a whole lot of bullets to go in the air. It could bring down an assault mech on a one-on-one in roughly 12 seconds to kill an Atlas, and normally can outlast an Atlas that walks right up on it. You may think this is a little bit bullshit, but you gotta remember that this mech also is locked in place. It can't move. And it can only divide its attention on one person. If more than one attacker comes after it, the Sentinel's not really able to do much about that. Its default guns are probably the highest DPS guns currently in BTCM. But like I said, once again, the problem is you have to be locked down and stationary in order to use them. The mech's a tread mech, so it goes a little bit faster than most other heavy mechs. Coming at 300 points of health, it's pretty versatile and quick to field. The big problem making it an attack mech, however, is that you do have to take the time to stop and anchor in order to attack another person efficiently. What that means is this mech will probably play more as a defense mech than anything else.
Alright, and I believe you saved the best for last.
No, yes. The last one is the Conscript. The Conscript is our newest line of assault mechs. It's the first assault mech to feature the tread system, which means it actually moves faster on the ground than the assault mechs do. Still not as fast as a heavy going in run mode, but it's still pretty mean. The big difference of the Conscript from the other mechs, though, is it sports weapons that require you to pretty much hit dead on. Much like the Mantis Sniper, this vehicle fields very low splash damage weapons. The first are the two howitzers it mounts. They do the same damage if you hit with both of them as a sniper would if you hit with both of its arms. The problem is that they slowly fall over distance, which means you do have to actually arc them to hit people. The other problem is they're slow firing, so once you fire you have to wait for quite a bit before you can fire the next round. The next system on this mech is the mortars. The mortars have a really serious arc, but once again do incredible damage. I think ranging anywhere from 100 to 120 damage if you hit with both mortars on a target. The last weapon you're going to see on this mech is the dual heavy machine guns. These things are mean and great for chewing apart smaller mechs. But at the end of the day, the big problem with this mech is, out of all the assault mechs, this one has the least capability built in to deal with small mechs. Light mechs will have no problem going right through this guy as long as they can get the jump on him. The big advantage to this mech is that it's great for killing other assaults. I would go as far as to deem it the assault hunter. Any assault one-on-one, it could pretty much devastate. That being said, once again, any light or fast mech is going to pretty much go right around it. All the shots from this mech, even the heavy machine guns to some extent, are actually slower than the weapons you're used to. So, it's a bit more difficult. The heavy machine guns is probably the only weapons capable of dealing with the light mechs. But once again, they're a little slower shooting, and, well, light mechs will pretty much have a field day with this guy. The other big downside of the Conscript is, even though it's faster than the assault mechs and hits a hell of a lot harder than any mech on the field right now, well, to put it bluntly, it's very heat inefficient. You'll have to stack heat sinks all over this guy, and firing off all of its weapons at once is a guaranteed overheat. No questions asked. So, it's up to you to decide. All the weapons in this mech pretty much need to be used independently. If you try to use all the mech's weapons at one time as an alpha strike, you'll find yourself staring at the ground a very long time.
Well, this is going to be really hard to choose just one mech. Alright, now to use those 3,000 C-bills. Thanks for your time, Cigar, and I'm sure all the listeners are with me when I say, nice mechs, you son of a bitch.